Hey, welcome to the 3 Arc stream. This is David and this is now December 14th, 2025. I have a cold. I got congestion and I'm on Mucinex and soup. But, last week, if you guys have trouble hearing me or seeing me, let me know in Discord or in the YouTube chat so I can fix things from here. But it looks good on my end so far. And last week, I thought there was a problem. YouTube said one thing, and my streaming software said another. But I realized later that it was working fine. So that's good. I don't want to do a whole video and not be streamed, talking to nobody. So this is my live stream I do weekly. The reason I've started doing this is because I wanted to give everybody an update on the project, the Verbobonc Campaign Guide 576 Common Year project for running the epic sandbox version of the Temple of Elemental Evil. So I do 3 to 4 to 5 articles a day with artwork, and I'm working on maps too at night. And not everybody can keep up with the project or where I'm at when I'm doing. But every time I do an article, I link it in Discord for you guys to comment on and critique and fix things. And a few of you have, and I made those corrections right away. I appreciate that. Thank you. But everybody's invited to do that. And anybody that's not on Discord, you're more than welcome to join Discord and join in on a conversation. Not only do we talk about the project, but we also talk about your individual campaigns. And that's something also I want to talk about tonight because we got a session report from somebody, Costitas, from his session. And he's pretty far along in his campaign using this material. So it's pretty interesting what's happening in his campaign. Also, lately, I've been focusing mostly on rewriting the City of Verbobonc. So I originally did the City of Verbobonc on World Anvil. It's fan content, free to use for everybody. It's internet only, so you can use it at the table or online and role play your campaign using the Verbobonc Campaign Guide 576 Common Year website on worldanvil.com. And it's free fan content. And I used to make modules. I still make modules like the Village of Nulb and Ostverk and Sheernob and different locations, and also the leadership of the Temple of Elemental Evil. And as I said last week, I have a choice. Dungeon Masters Guild, we have a good working relationship with them, and they contacted me and they said, you have a choice, David. You can either sell your modules here on DM's Guild and disconnect your World Anvil website, or keep your World Anvil website and you can't sell your modules on here. It's against the rules, against their policies with Wizards of the Coast. There's too many Dungeon Masters using the World Anvil website, and it's mine too. It's really a huge, elaborate DM notes, really. It's how I run my campaign. I couldn't imagine running this massive campaign without World Anvil, because all the artwork and maps and interactive maps and NPCs and organizations, all the shops and cities and towns, organizations, everything is on World Anvil. And I use it as I'm running the game. And so as other Dungeon Masters out there. The sales from modules on DM's Guild is minuscule. It's not even worth mentioning. I only did it because there's Dungeon Masters out there that want a PDF version of like the Village of Nulb so they can print it up. That's why I did it. It took me 300 hours to put that together. So I wonder why I do it, but I did it. So right now, somebody requested to do a PDF version, module version of the City of Verbobonc. That's where I start my campaign at, my Temple of Elemental Evil campaign. My players at first level start in the City of Verbobonc, running the Noble Ambitions quest line at first level. By the time they're done with that dungeon, they're second level. Then I get them down to the Village of Hamlet and the Moat House. So that quest line's done. It's on World Anvil. You can run it. But the City of Verbobonc is required to run that adventure because that's where the players start. And it's done. I did it like 4 years ago, but I've come a long way since then. And so I'm going through it shop by shop, NPC by NPC, district by district, and I'm rewriting it, updating it, adding more, replacing most of the paper artwork too, because I got better tools now. So I did the walls. They're done. All the locations outside the city walls are done. I see you, Damien. And District A, the high quarters, done. And I'm almost done with B, the business district. I think I left off at B25 maybe. I'll show you that in a second. See, Edward said, hey, mate, you must be from Australia. We know that. Damien's one of our contributors here at Three Orcs, and he did all the elves for this campaign setting. So he's very, very valuable contributor, but he's been quite busy lately. Hoodie, thank you for joining the live stream. Working great. I appreciate that. Thank you for letting me know. So instead of looking at my face this whole time, let's go ahead and look at some other stuff. Just so in case you guys are new, this is the website I'm talking about, the fan content free one that everybody can use all they want. And all my maps and all my tavern menus and all the artwork is free because it's fan content. The only reason I have my Patreon is to go there to support me because you want to, and that helps me a lot because I have to pay for all these other programs too. And also I'm working 5 to 6 hours a day for nothing. So it's really helpful. I usually go write my articles at a coffee shop, get out of the house. And then also all the free stuff is there too. All the free fan content versions, the lower resolution maps and menus and artwork and stuff and articles. I have members only articles I write that's not tied to the World of Greyhawk, so I don't break that agreement about fan content. Also, the higher resolution versions of those maps and menus and artwork is for members only too. But the regular versions are free for everybody. So that's how I get around that. This is the main website with the interactive map of the Viscounty. You can click bottom right-hand corner and click open to full size to see the whole thing. And down to the left is the table of contents. On the right is the maps. There we go. Make sure I point that out every time I do a video. So the Viscounty, I got 2 Viscounty maps. The one I showed you on the website is 1 hex is 3 miles, 1 league. This map is of the entire Viscounty within that orange line. And most of these villages are done, just like Nob and Hamlet in the middle. But I'm expanding outwards like an onion, trying to get more of these villages done. Twilight Falls is done, so that's as far out as I've gotten. Celine's done down to the south. Well, actually, Damien's working more on Celine. But a lot of it's done down there. And then this other map is this one. This map is only the Eastern Viscounty, and every hex is 1 mile because, Noble Ambitions, the quest line, a lot of stuff's happening in that quest line. And you really need to zoom in on the map because of all the things that are happening along that journey from the city of Verbobonc through Penwick, through the Fens of Tor, past Anshan, the village, Asbury Manor, into the Gnarly Forest. Now if I click on the DM only view here on the right hand side, and there's the dungeon right there. Roughly, it's in that quadrant. Damien says it's a little bit further to the east. I originally had a little bit further to the west, give or take 3 or 4 miles. Doesn't have to be exact. And there's orc tribes and there's lizardmen tribes and stuff like that. And there's Nob. So this is all part of the Temple of Elemental Evil campaign. As Gary Gygax intended, he expanded it. In Nob, he gave you 4 locations. Now you have 35 locations. All these towns didn't exist back in the day of the original World of Greyhawk box set. All he had was Verbobonc. And now all these towns exist because of Living Greyhawk. Living Greyhawk made all these, the triad, the writers between 2000 and 2009 created all these towns. And it's pretty logical. A town every 10 miles. That's as far as a merchant caravan can travel in a day. And merchant caravans tend to not want to spend the night out in the wilderness in the middle of the night and get attacked by monsters, especially in D&D, monsters and bandits and brigands and stuff. So it's pretty realistic. There'd be a little bit of settlements. Like Anshan is a little tiny settlement. So I talk about this stuff exhaustively in all my videos in the past. There's so much to talk about. I could talk about this for hours, and I have for hours. So that's the recap, kind of what's happening in this campaign. Oh, also I want to mention I'm trying to expand more. Twilight Falls, like I said, I want to get up to Divers. I want to go all the way up to the Wild Coast. So Dungeon Masters, I want to start their campaign in the Wild Coast and end up in Hamlet. I want all that keyed too, and I'm looking for help too. And a couple of these towns are not done yet, farther out. Everything on this map's done. Yeah, but it's the bigger map that I'm still trying to expand out more. Like I want to do Humming's End. I want to do that next. All these clans are done. Yeah, the 4 clans are done. That's right. But Noombaril needs to be done. Subman Witch needs to be done. Taymouth is kind of done. I just need to do it. You know, that is on the way to Divers on the outside of the Gnarly. So that's probably important. All right. So what I was doing is this is the City of Verbobonc main page. I showed you guys this last week. And this cover page that tells you everything you need to know about the city. You know, politics and demographics and military and laws. And the main page. And in the middle of the main page is an interactive map. And you can zoom in. And you can click on any of those locations. And they have their own articles and their own NPCs. And you can click on open full size right here to take up the whole screen, which I did already on another tab. On the right-hand side is a table of contents. I categorize them in quarters or districts. It's not consistent. So this is, I got together with Bainesfinger from his latest version was 2003, and we talk a lot. And he's really excited about this. And he wanted me to redo the city based on his original article. And some of these names came from that. And just like the original Live in Greyhawk town to the south called Cienega Valley, which is like a name of a town in California, a vineyard town. I don't know who named that, but I never liked it. And for like 3 years, I didn't touch it because I don't want to change anything. You know, that's my motto, is I don't change anything. I try to stick to canonical sources as much as possible. I only expand. I add. I don't change. And so that was one thing I did change. I changed it to another really good idea called Nibs Rest, which is basically the last port you can get to it by boat going south down the Nibs Run from the City of Verbobonc. So you know what I'm talking about. I'll show you real quick. Can I show you this map? Yeah, see that? I'll zoom out. You can't quite see it. So City of Verbobonc, that down the long road runs parallel to the Nibs Rest River. You can get past Etterbolk. You can get past this intersection, and then you get the Nibs Rest. And that's as far as south as you can really go without being a small little fishing boat. So that was a good idea to call it Nibs Rest, because that's where you end up at. This is another dungeon. It's the Fire Temple. I was going to talk about that tonight too. Expansion. So the Boathouse is run by Lareth, and he's from the Greater Temple. Well, the lesser temples, they have outposts out there too. And Gary Gygax was planning to do that. Fire, earth, water, air. Hoodie said, "This live stream working. Thank you." That's the Fire Temple where I put it. It's top of this mountain range called the Edders, which is what that watchtower, abandoned watchtower, is only like 5 miles north of Hamlet. So that's 3 miles to the edge of the map, and Hamlet's 2 or 3 miles south of that. So you can see that from in Hamlet. Heck, you can see the top of that tower from Nibs Rest. The players can see that. It's on fire. There's a big thing going on there. All right, so I just want to go over quickly what I did this week. Last week I told you I got as far as the business quarter. Oh, this is the main page of the business quarter. So each quarter or district has their own page. And then on that page describes everything about that district. And on the right-hand side is the table of contents. So you can navigate to these locations either with the table of contents or the interactive map. So there is no B1 because B1 was moved to another district, I think in the warehouse district by Bainesfinger. So there is no B1. I don't remember what I said last week, how far I got. It might have been B14 or something. Probably. So B15, you put your cursor over it, a little mini pop-up happens. If you click it again, you get the full article, full page. So I got as far as, let's see, That's it. B24. Yeah, I did that today. I was sick, and I went to the coffee house just to get my small little coffee, and I just did one. This one took a lot of work. I'll show you. I just took some time on this one because I had to redo everything, the artwork and stuff. So in every article, just so you know, introduction, what it's all about, flavor text to read to your players as you approach, then a description of the grounds, and then a description of each of the rooms, each of the locations in the facility, notable people, the politics there, the community relationships, the fee, how much they charge, and I always at the bottom always put plot hooks for the Dungeon Master, give them some ideas that bring the place to life in case you need it. On the right-hand side, picture, then the key NPCs. Sometimes I put stat block here, sometimes I don't. Like this time I didn't. So I created like 4 NPCs here. You know, description, role, motivation. It's the holy symbol I made for Zodal. I redid it. I don't know if this one's any better than the last one I had, but I redid that one today. That's not from me. That's from trivialhit.com. I don't know. I should remove that, actually. Services and mechanics, you know, healing and stuff. The players can come here and get healed up. So that's what I did today. That's where I ended B24. So tomorrow, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, all the way up to 32. 32 is an empty manor house that the players could buy or rent and take over. That's why I created it. I added that. Some of these locations I created myself. They weren't part of Bainsfinger because that whole, I could go on forever. I could key every single building in this map if I wanted to. But why would I? It'd take forever. And who would use it? Okay, so let's see. Let's go ahead and click this open here. Just to see what I'm talking about. So this, on the right-hand side is a filter. So you can, it's busy. See, you know, the map is busy. There's too many icons. So you can filter them out. So I'm going to unfilter. I'm going to click off everything except for the business district. I'll keep the street names on. See? So that's the district I'm working on right now. So I have to get up to B32. B32 is a lowercase b. I got to fix that. I think I said that last week too, but I haven't gotten there yet. I think I just did B25, B24 right here. Sisters of Mercy Hospital. And then also, I also have a zone. So I'll click on the zone and see that red line. So you know where the district lies, the boundaries. That helps too. I figured a Dungeon Master might need that, so I added. No, you can add all of them. Boom, 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 boom. So it's like lines around everything now. Pretty cool. I got A done, so all the A's are done too. So all these are the ones I did. And oh, the outside ones are done too. So let's click those on. Beyond the walls and the city gates there. Don't click on nothing. Okay, so all those outside locations are done too. Oh, 8.6 doesn't have a blurb. I'll have to fix that. I don't know why it doesn't have a blurb. I try to put little 1-sentence blurbs of what the place is like. That way you can just hover your cursor over to see without clicking on it. On the north side of the river, on the Furundi side, there's more locations too, as you can see. Some of these, like this one, described it too long. I probably shouldn't cut that down. That's too much on the screen. But anyway, that's what I've been working on all week. Okay, so now I want to talk about... Hello, Tracy. Thank you for joining my live stream. I appreciate it. Like always, you're always showing up. One of my favorite members here. Let's see. So Castidas had another session report. And as far as I know, Castidas, he's been on our channel before as a guest. You know, and anybody's welcome to come on the channel. We could talk about your campaign. And I guess people are too busy. So he wrote up an article on his latest. This is what his session reports look like. So basically, it's a long narration of what happened. 1 page, 2 pages, right? And then below that, he cuts them down into scenes with key events all bullet pointed. What happened? That's another scene. That's another scene. Another scene. The werewolf ambush is a scene. The return to Romag. Lieutenant Krell's mission. And that's it. Romag's rage. So in a nutshell, what happened was they took up the quest. So in the Knoll, the Village of Knoll module, I provide a lot of quests, and one of the quests is to get in deep with the side with the Earth Temple, because smart players will do that. They'll pick a faction and pitch the factions against each other and leverage them and use them against each other to weaken the temple. If you just go in busting heads, if a dungeon master knows what he's doing, the players won't succeed. The forces there, especially after I keyed the Village of Nob, which is 100 times more than the original Village of Nob. The forces there are so heavy hitters. And the players they need at least be 5th level to go there. And even then, there's some serious heavy hitters there. And they decided to take them out. Like your public enemy number 1 of all the 7 factions, they're going to take you out. You're not going to last very long. The paladin walking into town, arresting everybody is not going to last more than 5 minutes. So with the smart players, what they'll do is they'll go in incognito. The first thing any of the factions is going to want to know, if you watch old Western movies, the same thing. You know, the gunslinger like Clint Eastwood comes into town. The first thing you want to know is who he is, what his name is, what he is, what he does, where he's from, and why he's there. Because a lot of this town can get, they want to keep it incognito, a hive of scum and villainy. They don't want to bring down the forces of good there. They want to give the forces of good a reason to come down and stomp the place out. They just want to keep it just a hive of bandits, local problem. And the rise of banditry in this campaign just started a couple years ago. It's now 579 common year. And the Supreme Commander Hadrick gave expressed orders to all his minions, his leadership and agents of the Temple of Elemental Evil, to keep it that way, to keep all loot coming in, supplies, prisoners, and recruits. That's what I was trying to say. Incognito. Bring him into the secret tunnel. Bypass Nob, undercover at night. Don't make it loud and clear, and keep it on a down low so nobody will be able to get evidence. And they got the constable nailed down too. Constable knows that he'll get killed and replaced if he really tries to stand up to him. So yeah. Oh yeah. So anyway, this group, Costitas' group, they got pretty far. They already got past the Mount House and all that. And I guess I'm not sure if it's him or another dungeon master, but I think they're working with Lareth. They kind of worked with him a little bit, and Lareth is going to betray them. And they did something with the Gift of Beauty. I can't remember that part. I got a couple DMs almost in the same boat here. Well, anyway, this group got to Nob, and it decided to side with the Earth Temple. Romag, he's the leader of the Earth Temple. And what's his face? Dick Wrench of the Waterside Hostel. He's an agent of the Earth Temple. So they just escaped the wrath, the wraith that drained Zephyr's very life essence. So I guess Zephyr is one of the player characters. Something about the chamber. Dick Wrench hadn't told them about everything when he sent them there. The growing concern that they stood in the air temple's power source deposited directly into enemy territory. Okay, so they followed a map that Dick Wrench from the Waterside gave them. So Dick Wrench set them up to get killed, and that's a suggestion I give in the modules and the temple leadership module. Is when a party of adventurers come into town and they look like they're a threat, they're not just going to murder them in the streets. It's too loud, too much evidence. They'll bring down the wrath of the forces of good down on the village. So what they're going to want to do, they want to misdirect them and get them out of town. And preferably, 7 factions, and they're not all friends. They're against each other. They all want to be on top eventually, especially the earth. The earth, air, water, and fire, they have the most hatred for another for certain factions. and others are neutral. So Earth hates fire. Yeah. So what happened is Rick Wrench, agent of the Earth Elemental Temple, they haven't met Romog yet. So Dick is the bartender at the waterside. So the players come in, they want to get work. I guess they're mercenaries looking for work, get loot, get rich. And what kind of work do you got? We heard you guys are good. We want to side with you. We heard a lot about you, and I guess that's what happened. And so Dick Wrench decided to test them, I guess, or get them killed. So he redirected them to a fire temple site. And that's that fire temple watchtower I was telling you about 5 miles in the Edders, 5 miles north of the village of Hamlet. So he directed them to go there. Because, that's where the Temple of Elemental Evil resurgence is happening. You could go there and put a stop to it. What he did is he directed them to an enemy temple, the fire temple. So it's pretty funny, and that's what you should do. So Dick Wrench is a noble faction, bandit, brigand, pirate, noble faction. But he's also a member of the Earth Temple, and he sides with Romog. So anyway, so I guess he led them. He gave them directions to Temple of Elemental Evil, which is, he gave them the directions, and they reached the destination door in the temple, the first level, and they knocked on the door. And they got into the temple, this description of the Earth Temple, and 2 radiant figures appeared. So the party explained they're on a mission to find gnolls to defeat the Temple of Elemental Evil. The figures seemed delighted with that. The brighter figure made an unusual request. The party placed every weapon, holy symbol, and magic item, silver item before the crystal window. I'm not sure where this is at. But anyway, Zephyr offered only a short sword. So anyway, described what each of the characters did. I'm just trying to get to the campaign part, not the nitty-gritty. They exited the door, secret entrance, blah, 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 blah. There's a big temple. So they supposed they would have to do the hard way with the fire temple. So I guess what happened was they encountered the werewolves. So they had to fight the werewolves. And the werewolves had silver weapons in their lair, by the way, because they've been collecting them. Yeah, it's a big old fight. And then it's a lot easier to read the scenes, I think. So first one was Journey to the Temple, which we just talked about. They stood over a captured gnoll. They slapped a gnoll around, got information from the gnoll, and searched the bodies. They went back to Nold, to the Waterside, not Watersteed, Waterside Hostel, but Dick Wrench awaited them. Dick Wrench confirmed he had arranged a meeting with the Romog. Okay, so now they get what happened was Dick Wrench gave them the first quest to go kill those gnolls. Those gnolls are working for the Fire Temple. Bam, that's what happened. So once they were succeeded in that, they gained reputation with Dick to have him send them to meet Romog at the Earth Temple. Okay, now we're on the same page. So Dick Wrench led them along the path towards the temple. I forgot this. It's on the map what the path is called. Pilgrim's Way. That's what that path is called. The landscape grew, dead trees, temple loomed over them. So they got there. They went to the side entrance. They saw a whole bunch of horrible scenes. They got to the north altar. Okay, so they got to Romog. So there's a huge bullet point list of what happened there. So they got to meet Romog, and they asked the party. He tasked the party with descending to the lower levels to eliminate the Fire Temple gnolls. Okay, so he sent them after the gnolls in the lower one level down. That's where the Fire Temple is. Romog laughed. Dick Wrench showed a map. Romog promised the party to earn the right of a badge of the Earth Temple. So they have badges for the Earth Temple. So they get there. They fight. There's a wraith. They have to fight the wraith. Okay. They get past all that. So Hoodie said, the Verbobonc Civic Center location was very useful to the start of the Noble Ambitions. G3 Jolly's Inn. Yes, very much so, because if you look at the map, let's see. I need to pull up the Civic Center. Let me get rid of the A's and get rid of the B's. So this is the Civic Center district. It's the blue area. So C3 is Jolly's Inn, which is next to the East Highgate. Yeah. So this whole thing is not done yet. So you're using the old material I created 3 or 4 years ago. So I'm going to hit the C's next after I finish with the business district and go through it and clean it up some more and probably replace a lot of the artwork and stuff. But yeah, that's where Jolly's Inn is. So Jolly's Inn, by the way, is where noble ambitions start. That's where the players meet for the first time Lady Eleanor Osberry, the Celestial Ambassador. And she's going to give them the mission. Escort her to House Osberry, to Osberry Manor, which is southeast of Penwick. I start my players elsewhere in the city, and by the end of the day, they arrive at Jolly's Inn. I have these pre-quest type. It's on the website. So let me show you real quick. So in the main page, go scroll down to campaigns, and then scroll down to noble ambitions. And then I'm just going to click on the actual page. Dang, look at all those pages. Noble ambitions. These are the side quests right here. NSQ01, NSQ02, 3, 4, and 5. 5 side missions. But where's the main page? There it is, the plot. Right there. See this? That right there? That article is the main page of the whole plot. And all these are sub-articles underneath that article. So I'm going to open it up. That's Lady Eleanor. So these quests, can you see that? Yeah. These quests right here are all the side quests. Come on, stop that. It keeps doing that to me. Okay. So those side quests I give to different players in the group separately, and I role play with them separately. They're short little mini quests, and then they all arrive for their own reasons to go see Lady Eleanor. And it's all based on who they serve. You know, if they're with the Mages Guild or they're a bishop of their church, the bishop summons them. Acolyte, Booba, I need you to go investigate Lady Eleanor. She's up to something. I'm going to send you there. You represent the church. Do not let me down. Tell me everything you see in here. Okay, sir. I'm going. I'll tell you everything. And that's their symbol. And that's the letter that went out on the right-hand side. That letter went out to everybody. And every noble, every church, every organization, even the Viscount himself, they all seen this. And they all want to know what's happening. And she's keeping it secret. She's not telling anybody what she needs adventurers for. And she's the most eligible bachelorette in the kingdom. 22 years old, beautiful, well-educated, well-spoken, well-trained. And she is a celestial ambassador of the something or another. Okay. What were we talking about? Oh, so anyway, Romog here. So I don't know what this angelic deception is. So they enter a safe room with radiant. So it looks like all this stuff is happening within the temple. So I guess they fight it. They do something there. They talk about, they tell them they're on a mission to find the gnolls. I guess they talk to them. So yeah, they talk to them. Then there's the werewolf ambush. Okay. Then after the big fight, a lot of bullet points of fighting. Then you get to looting the werewolf lair. And so there's a lot of bullet points of what they looted. 450 gold pieces. They divided it to 105 gold pieces each. And I guess he'd also, in my game, I'd give them 105 experience points each too for the gold. But different DMs run their games differently. So anyway, they went back to Romog, which is at the Earth Temple on level 1, obviously. And then a lot of things happened there. They talked to him. Dick Wrench is surprised. No, Romog is surprised. Because Dick Wrench tried to get them killed. And Dick Wrench just said, I was just trying to test them. Make sure they're worthy. And then Romog finally handed the party badges of the Earth Temple. So they earned them and dismissed them to the bunk rooms with the other guards. So I guess the players got rooms in the dungeon, and they're staying there right now. The party claimed they wanted power and saw the Earth Temple as a way of as an up and coming organization, and that's a way to get power. The guard expressed enthusiasm. The party rolled deception checks. Anyway, then the next mission is Lieutenant Krell's mission. The next morning, Lieutenant Krell gives the party a mission to raid the Fire Temple. Where's this Fire Temple at? I guess it's in the dungeon. Yeah, it's in the dungeon. Okay. I thought he sent them to the the tower north of Hamlet, but I guess he just sent them right to the Fire Temple in the dungeon. So it looks like he's running a dungeon-centric campaign right at this point. Then there's the Ogre ambush. Betrayal has been revealed. Romag is pissed off when they return to him. So that's where they're at. You can read this yourself. It's on Discord. So I like how he, wrote this up. I like writing up session reports like this too for players that don't pay attention. That's just most of them. They go, "You just said that last game we played." What do you mean you don't remember? I showed it to you. It's in your handout. Where's your handout at? They're looking for their handout. Oh, so frustrating. But yeah, it's nice. Did you even read the session report? I got to the point where I said, I'm going to give 100 experience points reward if you can prove that you read the session reports each session. And I'm going to ask you what it said on paragraph 5. Anyway, I'd ask them to synopsis, in generally what I talked about. Because they usually ask me, how many experience points did I get? And it's at the bottom of my session report, I put the experience points per person too. Because I got tired of answering the same dumb questions over and over again of information I gave them the previous session. I figured I'd just give them, I'd catalog all that stuff, document it all in a session report. So it's all there. So all I have to say is, it's on the session report. Stop asking me. It's on the session report. Okay, so you have a question. Damien. Regarding Lady Osbury, did you decide to retune her promotion to ambassador to take place earlier? Well, one of the few things I changed in this campaign, it's not the campaign I changed, it's the Living Greyhawk lore. So first off, I want to state this premise here. Yes, for the whole campaign, I reference canonically the box, the World of Greyhawk, and all the lore books since then. Okay, and I don't change anything, and that's why I got experts on our panel to make sure this all jives. Even when we make stuff up, it's all part of the lore. It's not just made up lore. Anything that happens with Living Greyhawk, that's future. That's possible future events. You gotta remember, we're running the 579 common year. With original T1 through 4 Temple of Elemental Evil campaign module. It's 579. The Greyhawk Wars have not happened yet. Look what I got. Quantum Cola from Fallout. It's kind of rare. They sell a whole case of this at Costco for $18. Anyway, this tastes like bubblegum. I'm going to save that next to my figures. I got a whole bunch of figures. I love that game. See? So I got several of these. I want more of them, but they cost too much. They want like $200 for one season's worth. So I don't consider Living Greyhawk canonical, 100% canonical. It's just something we can use for this campaign. But I try to stick to its sources as much as I can. But another reason why I changed some things about Living Greyhawk, you remember, it's all over the place. Different dungeon masters, different authors changed lore, or it was not consistent at all from module to module. It's all over the place. It's not exacting either. Like, you don't know exactly where the borders of this or that, like Lady Eleanor's lands. There's no document. There's missing information like that. And when I went to ask the Triad members, I interviewed them here on this channel, and they don't know. There's a lot of stuff they just didn't know. They don't have that information. And another thing is they're strictly forbidden to stay away from Nob and not write anything about the Temple of Elemental Evil in the Living Greyhawk years. They weren't allowed to do it, probably because of Gary Gygax. So I try to stick to Living Greyhawk stuff. So I love Noble Ambitions. It's a great module. It's a fantastic piece of writing. It's really engaging. It really does a good job introducing the players to this campaign world. The politics engages them with what's going on in this world, with all the organizations and nobles and things that are happening, and the effect of the Temple of Elemental Evil agents have, their reach, and what they're up to, who they're engaging and collaborating with. And Noble Ambitions is the perfect introduction to this campaign, I believe. And so to do that, Lady Eleanor is in it. And supposedly, if we went by the age of Living Greyhawk, she'd be 3 years old right now. Maybe 7. I think she'd be 7 years old. So that's one of the little things I had to change to get the fit. I had to get that. I had to edit that module to fit this campaign setting. Now, anybody that wants to run it can change it. It's just her age. If somebody's running this campaign in 599 Comedy or 600, they can still use it. She'll still be the same age. So they just use her original age, right? So anyway, Ambassador. Well, so in the module, and all the modules, she's just considered the ambassador to the Celestial Circle, and I just kept it that way. Yeah. So your question was, yeah, it did. Everything about her took place earlier for this campaign setting. Yes. It all happened earlier. Everything did. Everything in this campaign setting happened earlier. Any lore or writing I got a reference from Living Greyhawk happened earlier. That I actually integrated it into this campaign setting. So Damien said, I follow that, but I just really like that her character arc over the course of the Living Greyhawk involves promotion to ambassador and baroness. She doesn't start off that way. Yeah, but the problem is she is a baroness and ambassador at the beginning of Noble Ambitions. Isn't that right? That's what they call her in the module. And it's the first module. It's the first Verbobonc module. Module 1. It's the first thing I wrote in 2001. I don't see how the Living Greyhawk in the module, it doesn't state that the campaign she evolved over time into an ambassador and baroness. She already had that title in the first module of Noble Ambitions. That's where I got it from. Are you saying that in Living Greyhawk, Noble Ambitions, that she didn't have those titles? Yeah, so, yeah, you don't quite know yet. I mean, you can look at the module, and she's called that. It's a good idea. It's kind of cool, in a way. As you know, I know we've all been DMing for 40 years. Campaigns don't generally last that long. Some of us are lucky enough to have been running this campaign for 20 years, and they let that happen. Their players got to see that. But if anybody, new DMs coming along and they want to run this campaign and they're running the Temple of Elemental Evil, they're going to run it, I don't know, 6 months to a year, maybe hopefully 2 years. Keep going. It's an epic campaign after all. You got the G's, the D's, the Q1, all those modules, the A's, the slavers. So it could be a really epic campaign. That's what it's supposed to be. But in my experience, most of the time, the campaigns don't survive that long to see something like that grow. The Walker's Guide to Verbobonc. Yeah, I developed the module based on what the module said. The quest line for Noble Ambitions. I just went with that. So I guess if they defined it more in the Walker's Guide, that's what they did later. I think the Walker's Guide came out later. So let's take a look. Let's see, Living Greyhawk. This is a Journey of the Wanderer. Are you talking about the Journey of the Wanderer? Are you talking about the Walker's Guide? Good. The links work. Where is she? Oh, where could you be? There it is. Second one, page 9. The Wayfarer's Guide. Maybe that's what you meant. Okay, so you're saying stuff. I got it up on screen. So it's a lot of history here. Past all that. It's a big history. Right here. Eleanor was recently appointed as Verbobonc's ambassador to Valuna and given appropriate title. The statesman that captured the hearts of so many is now Baroness Eleanor Trasgard Osbury, ambassador of the Celestial Circle, mistress of House Osbury. So date-wise, this happens at the beginning of Noble Ambitions. This is what she is in that module. It doesn't happen throughout the campaign setting. And Noble Ambitions is the first module before they wrote any others. Well, the core modules were written first, but the Pacific Verbobonc modules, VER01, that's at Noble Ambitions. So she said, yeah, they don't put a lot of dates here. And that's the kind of artwork that we used to have in the 2000s compared to mine. Anyway, that's fine. Some of it's a lot worse, believe me. Especially the maps. They're really, really simple. Okay, so anyway, that's what I've been working on. So yeah, I like this session report. I like to have Dungeon Masters come on the live stream and talk about their session, but the session report's cool too. So if you look at the Discord channel, people talk about their in the Verbobonc Campaign channel. They talk about their campaigns. So Damien said there are 2 journals to the Wanderer. The first one doesn't have her as an ambassador. The revised one released later in the campaign around 594 Common Year. Yeah. That's Living Greyhawk for you. It's not consistent. It's always changing, and depending on who wrote it. And I learned that from like Rick Bruner and those guys. You know, that's just how it was back then. I think Rick Bruner was the one that got all the editing done, I believe. Or also, there was a change of guard. You know, people left and new people came in halfway through. You know, new triad members. So yeah. So we have some members that are really into Living Greyhawk, and they really take it seriously, like it's deep canon. And I, as you can see, I did follow it for when and I followed the module strictly, except for the date. Just changed the date. It's 594. It's 579 Common Year. Yeah. Okay, let's see. I worked a little bit on the map of the Lizardman Village. I don't know if I have an updated. I do. I have an updated map. If I can find it. Let's see. Gotta think where I saved it. Oh, I remember now. Come on. Go. Let's see. Okay. So the latest one. I don't think this is the latest one. Yeah, I don't think that is. No, it's not. Dang. I wish I could show you my latest map. But I've been working on it. I'll put a lot more detail in it since this one. But I'm still working on it. This is the underground level of the Lizardman Village in the Fenzator. So I've been working on this a little bit day by day. Yeah, see how I've been filling it in with more details. I decided to put a lot of waterfalls and levels, so it's not just a flat dungeon. There's a lot of levels and waterfalls and slopes and stairs, and so I was kind of starting up here and working my way down, but I added a lot to this since this map. So I'm still working on it. I didn't save it. I didn't export it since I worked on it the last couple of times. I wonder if I did it in Discord. Probably not. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, I answered questions that you guys had. If you have any more questions about this campaign, let me know. Like I said, this campaign setting, this material, is more than anybody needs. Like 35 locations in Node, good example. You're not going to need all 35 locations. You might need it. Your players might go there. You don't know what your players are going to do. Or you might not want to. You might think some locations are really cool. You want to use them, but other locations you could care less about. But at least I created them, gave you the choice whether or not to use them. I also leave a lot of locations empty for you to add stuff yourself. So give or take, you can give or take any of this stuff, any of the NPCs, any of the locations. You can change it. It's your campaign. I try to keep it a blank slate, like a default campaign setting for a dungeon master to play with, to change, to make it your own version of Greyhawk. That's my goal. I try to think, like all that flavor text I write. Some dungeon masters don't use that stuff. And some of my artwork might not be exact what you thought it should look like. You don't have to use that artwork. Use your own artwork. I try to do my best to provide everything I can for any dungeon master to use, but I don't expect, like some of these villages, I don't expect a dungeon master's players will ever go up to Emridi or Mole. But I did it anyway, in case you need it or use it. Or D-Suits Ford, which is kind of out of the way. So anything like that, I understand that as I'm creating any of this stuff. Like the City of Verbobonc. All these locations, there's a lot here. Maybe some will never go to Taylor's Alley. Maybe some will never go to the graveyard. But I figured the city needed a graveyard. I put plot hooks and everything in there, and a lot of artwork and stuff. It's a pretty cool place. I even did this is interesting. So I created a Verbobonc Knights arena where they have jousts, and a lot of the nobles show up for this as part of the political landscape of what's happening, the activities that they're up to, these different houses and nobles and lords. And they show up to gain favor and trade and politics and talk, make deals during these arenas. And this is a big deal. So if you have a player in your group that's a paladin or a fighter or a cavalier or something, a knight, actually I think I have a little quest for that, so they can participate in this tournament in your role-playing session, in your campaign. I think that'd be really cool. So I did that. I added it in case some of you wanted to do something like that. I did a book by the guy that did Game of Thrones. What's his name? So anyway, he wrote a book, what happened before the Game of Thrones. No dragons or anything. And it was about a boy. He was really the prince. And it was when the silver-haired people were in charge of the dragons. I can't remember their names. Anyway, he was the prince. And he was bald. He shaved his hair, made himself bald, and he went with this knight. And the knight would go, he was a hedge knight, and the hedge knight would go from tournament to tournament making money. Just like that movie, Knight's Tale. So something like that could happen, like in the movie Knight's Tale. You could go to this tournament, and it'll be politics. You can make enemy of Lord Millennius or get his favor. When it doesn't have to be against him specifically. It could be against one of his knights or any other lord in the kingdom. You could fight for honor for Lady Eleanor maybe later on in the campaign. Red joust for her. So a lot of things could happen in this game. It's just up the Dungeon Master's imagination. I just want to make sure I give you the groundwork and the tools you can use to do that. Okay. Well, anyway, this is what this whole live stream is about. It's been an hour now, and I went over pretty much all I did. this week I've been so absorbed with doing the City of Verbobonc. I did work on something else though. I created a website. So the website is on my other screen. So you guys have to come over and look at it. Just kidding. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. Let's see if I can't bring it over. Oh. So what I want to do is I want to make a big deal about it, make a video about it, and release it to all the Facebook groups and stuff. And so I'm not quite done. This is a work in progress. So right now what's available is the T1 Village of Hamlet side quest module is out. So you can download this for free. And I have rules here. So my objective is once a month, put another module out for free to download from this website. So this website has nothing to do with Patreon. I'll make that very clear. Wizards of the Coast considers that monetization if I put these modules on Patreon. So I can't do that. So this is separate from all that. So basically, I'm just giving these modules away when I meet certain goals. And I haven't figured out those goals yet. And I've been talking to people about it. Like maybe 1,000 views on YouTube or 150 likes on Patreon, or milestones. When I unlock certain milestones, I'll release another free module that month. Members only, high res. So the Patreon members only stuff is additional stuff like VTT tokens, high resolution maps. The regular resolution will be free, of course, in the module, but it's the extra stuff that would be on the Patreon only. So I don't break any rules. So unlocking next month. I'm not even done with this yet. I still have to add more stuff. See, this is all blank down here. So I'm working on it. This is a free website, which is cool. But I just need something to put up to put these downloads on. You can't even upload PDFs to Patreon anyway. It won't let you. It's not compatible. Anyway, that's what I'm working on, and I want to make a big production out of it. I've been so absorbed working on City of Verbobonc. How did I get a chance to even think about this? And plus, I got a cold today, so I didn't work on this at all. But I do need to add more, and I need to figure out my goals. So maybe I'll do a poll on Patreon asking everybody what the goals should be. Okay. Yeah, so I was thinking about giving away once per month. Yeah, thank you, Hoodie. I appreciate that. I just got to figure out some goals. I'm not quite 2,000 members on YouTube yet, and I have 600 members on Patreon. I got to think of something that's feasible. Yeah, I think I make a big deal about the 2,000 subs on YouTube. If I can actually get to 2,000, I'm at 19 something right now, or 18 something. That'd be cool to get the 2,000 mark. But anyway, I have 5 modules done. So the first one's out. So that's 5 months worth of stuff. And then the City of Verbobonc will be done before then. So that'll be my 6th module. And then maybe I'll do a poll on what module I should do next. Like one of the other small villages, maybe. Oh, I need to do the dungeons. I need to do the temple outposts. Fire, earth, air, and water. I got to tackle those next. I'm going to do the fire one, the tower that's on top of the Edders, 5 miles north of Hamlet. Yeah, I should do that next. That's a good idea. And then as I create it for World Anvil, I'll also at the same time copy paste it over to the module, the PDF version of it, which is harder than it sounds because I make it tight. The formatting, very, very tight. I don't waste space at all. I add content to fill space, like dialogue, descriptions, artwork. I want to make sure a whole page is filled with content, and it takes a page. I don't know page and a half BS, no half a page of this crap. No, I want it very referenceable. Go to that page or that 2-page spread, and all the information you need about that location or NPCs right there. Unfortunately, some of these other game companies don't do that. Like Castles and Crusaders, they have been having a problem with that for a while now. It's a crime, I think. They should not be doing that at this stage because we complained about it 5 years ago, and they're still making the same mistake. Okay. They should hire me, but I'm not a professional. I'm just good at it because I've been practicing. But I did take graphic arts in college at one point, and then I got bored of it, and I went to computer science, and then I went to video production. But I did originally went for graphic arts, and it was really boring. Okay, I guess that wraps it up. So let me finish this. Okay, so that wraps up my live stream video for 3 Orcs on December 14th. For Christmas, I want a new wallet, new watch, new shoes, full grain leather. I'm going to tell all my family members that's what I want. I'm going to put them all on my Amazon wish list. And so next week, I'll do another live stream and tell you what I did all this week. And hopefully I'm into the seas. Hopefully I finish the Civic Plaza. That's my goal. Yeah, by next Sunday, I want to finish the Civic Plaza District. That'd be awesome. And also that website that I just showed you. I need to make a video for it and make a big launch for it. So that way, let everybody know in all those social Facebook groups that, yeah, this is now a big deal. And if you want this stuff, you can come here and get a free module. That's going to be huge, I think. I just need to make a really exciting, glamorous video showcasing that to really sell it and get more members over to the Discord and the Patreon and YouTube. All right. Well, thank you. I hope you guys like the material I made for you for this campaign. It's a 7-year project of love and a lot of help from you guys also on the Discord. And I hope your players enjoyed your campaigns as much as all my groups have. And you guys have a good week, and I'll talk to you then.